Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Oddlog. And an amazing thing has finally happened in that the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home has at long last been released. It's due out in December, and it's now nearly the end of August, so they really were cutting it fine to get this trailer released, and the demand and the hype for it was just super intense. It actually got leaked at the beginning of the week, and I did watch the leaked video, but it was just of such poor quality that I couldn't really figure out what was going on in it anyway, so it didn't really matter. So once that had happened, I kind of figured it was only a matter of time before they actually released the official trailer, and they did. And what a trailer it is, and how pleasing it is to finally have something in the MCU coming up that I'm actually excited about. Shang-Chi and Eternals, I couldn't care less about those movies. So to finally have Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be absolutely insane. And a lot of the things that have been theorized and sort of hyped up about this movie do look to be as though they are actually happening. We do have Dr. Octopus from the original Spider-Man movies. We presume the Green Goblin from the same franchise. We also believe that there's Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man films. Possibly the Sandman, possibly the Lizard as well. They were all sort of either hinted at. The only one you definitely see is Dr. Octopus, but just the fact that he's there does generally tend to suggest that if he can be there, so can all the others. What we don't see in the trailer is the other Spider-Men. We don't see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, and everybody is sort of assuming that because we see the bad guys, there's a good chance we'll see the good guys from those films as well. It's not a guarantee, and my biggest worry for this film now is that everyone's expecting it, everyone's hyping it up for that to happen, which means that by the time the film comes out, if it doesn't happen and they don't do that, everyone's going to be like super disappointed that it's not a Spider-Verse film. So I don't know. I still go in with a little bit of caution with this and just sort of say these are just rumours, these are just theories. Both actors have actually denied that they're in the film, although whether you choose to believe them or not is another question. So who knows at this point? We simply don't know. All we know is that the villains appear to be coming back into this Spider-Man movie. So just brace yourselves for the fact it could just be Tom Holland. We simply don't know at this stage. I'd love for the other Spider-Men to appear in it, obviously. I just think it would be amazing. It would be something that's never really been done in cinema before, to pull old films through into a current timeline to sort of cross these different universes of a superhero franchise and pull them all together, which is what the multiverse allows you to do. So I hope that's what happens, but I don't want to get my hopes up too much. We don't know that those two actors are going to be in the film. We don't know that Green Goblin's going to be in it, but we do see a pumpkin grenade, so it kind of suggests that he's there. There's his laugh in it as well, the famous one. And we think we see glimpses of possibly Electro, although he appears to be yellow now instead of blue. Possibly Sandman, and possibly the Lizard appears in it as well, but they're very quick sequences that you don't really get the chance to see a lot of detail. It's just so fast you can't really make it out. So there are a lot of questions from this trailer. It's an amazing trailer, and it obviously is telling the story, presumably, of the Spider-Man comic run, which I think was called One More Day. And in that comic series, Spider-Man, his identity is revealed, as has happened in the films, by Mysterio. He then goes to Doctor Strange and says, can you just change time so that it never happened and no one will know that I'm Spider-Man? So he's trying to protect that whole secret identity thing. That's exactly what happens in the comic series, except that Doctor Strange doesn't agree. He doesn't want to do it. And therefore, here we go again. Mephisto jumps in and says, I'll do it for you. The price you've got to pay is basically that he wants MJ. And he kind of has to give her up to get his wish and to have time altered so that no one knows he's the real Spider-Man. So it's possible that they could be going along those lines. The difficulty is that we see Doctor Strange in the trailer doing the spell and working the magic to change time, and in doing so opens up this multiverse, Spider-Verse, whatever you want to call it. But there are some real questions over this, and everyone is speculating it's not the real Doctor Strange. He does seem to be, I think, a little bit off in terms of his character. He seems either to be, in the later scenes, quite menacing and actually in a fight with Spider-Man. He also, at one stage, appears to be dressed in incredibly dull, dark colours, like a much darkened version of his usual attire. So it's not as colourful, so that sort of suggests that it's not the genuine him. But more to the point, just the fact that he agrees to do it. And it just reminded me so much of the scene in Infinity War where Tony Stark just turns to him when he gives up the time stone, just be like, why did you do that? And why does he help Peter? Why would he just be so willing to be that reckless with time, that he would just be, yeah, all right, I'll do that for you, no problem. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I think Doctor Strange as a character and as a person, his character is developed to not be quite so reckless. He is, at the beginning of his solo movie, he is a reckless person driving fast cars. That's why he has a car crash, and that's what leads to him becoming Doctor Strange. And he is kind of reckless in that he uses the time stone to defeat Dormammu. But at the same time, I think he would learn from that experience to be like, okay, well, maybe we now need to be a little bit more careful. We've managed to save half the universe, and only just by the skin of our teeth have managed to do this. Is he reckless enough to just say to Peter Parker, yeah, all right, I'll change time for you? Like it's no big deal, and like he doesn't want anything in return for that. It's just really, really strange. So I think there's something not quite right, and I would have a hard time as a viewer of the film just saying, all right, well, he's just being reckless. Then it's kind of a bit dull to go down that route. And obviously now everyone's speculating, well, it's perhaps not the real Doctor Strange. Maybe it's a Skrull. No one's actually said that before, so who knows? Is Doctor Strange actually a Skrull? Or is it Mephisto? Is it playing on that comic book series and actually using Mephisto? The problem with that is that Mephisto was kind of teased in WandaVision and it never happened. People were even saying in Loki they thought that he might appear, and now they're doing it again with Spider-Man, and it's like, how many times do you want to reference Mephisto before you actually put him in a film? Or they just turn around and say, get over it, he's not going to appear. But Doctor Strange just does seem off to me. So as soon as that happens and you see deals starting to be made, who knows? Maybe Mephisto is behind all of it. Maybe he's working with Kang to do this. It's not impossible. Mephisto didn't appear in the Infinity Saga, and yet in the Infinity Gauntlet comic run, he was quite a major character in what happens in the Infinity Saga, if you like, and how it is that Thanos comes to get the stones and snap his fingers and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that Mephisto was taken out of that storyline almost suggests that they were saving him for something in the future, or weren't quite ready to reveal him yet. When we go back to WandaVision, there were so many little nods and things that sort of made you think that it was going to be him that was going to appear. And then again in Loki, there were stained glass windows in churches of like the devil, and it looked like him. And now with this, we're thinking, well, someone's making a deal with Peter Parker. It might look like Doctor Strange, but he's not acting like Doctor Strange. Could it be Mephisto? Well, who knows? It's really, really difficult to know, and obviously everyone's going to speculate and come up with their own theories. I don't think it's Mephisto, if I'm being honest. I think it's probably, if it's not Doctor Strange, then I think it's a dark Doctor Strange. And part of the reason I think that is because we know that Dark Doctor Strange is going to appear in the What If series. So perhaps it's more likely that we're going to see our first live action incarnation of someone we're seeing in the What If show, which would be brilliant if they do. If they open up the multiverse so that he becomes a character, we get a little bit of backstory for him in a What If episode, and then it's actually him that appears in Spider-Man. And that would be great, because we're seeing variants now starting to appear. Maybe the events of this have all happened after Loki have appeared, and variants are appearing all over the place, similar to the way that Skrulls do. I'm not gonna rule that out. I don't know. There's just so many questions with this. Whatever the answer is, it obviously opens things up. If Doctor Strange is just Doctor Strange, I'm sure he has a good reason for doing what he does, and I'm pretty sure that that'll all obviously get explained in detail in the movie. There's obviously a genuine reason as to why he would be so willing to just mess around with time like that and be like, yeah, no worries, we'll go back and change time for you, Peter Parker. So yeah, it's just a brilliant trailer, super exciting. Cannot wait for this film to come out so that we get these questions answered. How brilliant it is to finally have something in the MCU that we're excited for, because at the moment it's kind of, I feel like with Shang-Chi and the Eternals, we're just like wading through the dross of the MCU before we can finally get to something we actually want to see. The trailer itself has had more views than Endgame did for the trailer, which is just amazing. And I don't expect it to necessarily be like a box office smash, because we're still obviously, in the pandemic era now. I don't think we'll see the ticket numbers that we did with Endgame. But I still think it will probably be, I reckon, the biggest movie of this year, by a long way. I think it will outdo Black Widow in its opening weekend. I think it's going to smash it, and it's genuinely a film that I will go to the cinema to see, which I won't with Shang-Chi and I won't with the Eternals, because they just don't look interesting. I couldn't even tell you what happened in the trailers because it was so forgettable. But with this, with Spider-Man, it's awesome, absolutely brilliant. Super, super excited for this. Cannot wait to see it, and the hype between now and then is just going to get unbelievable. But as I said before, you just got to be careful that you don't get your hopes up of seeing something in particular that then doesn't happen. It's why The Rise of Skywalker really didn't go down well with a lot of people, because they all thought something in their mind was going to happen that never did. And I worry that this film is going to go that same way. So only time will tell. It's only a few months to go. I cannot wait to find out finally what the answers are to all these questions. Is it Doctor Strange? Is it not? Is it someone else? Is it someone pretending to be him? Could it be Mephisto? I doubt it. Maybe Dark Doctor Strange, maybe a variant. Is the events of that when he does the spell to alter time, is that happening in sync with when Sylvie stabs He Who Remains and kills him? Which arguably that's the event that opens up the multiverse. But does it happen at the same time? At the same time, Wanda reads the Darkhold and she starts hearing voices from other dimensions. Are these three things all happening at exactly the same moment, so that not only does the multiverse get opened, but it's all going to just turn into a multiverse of madness, hence the Doctor Strange movie coming next year. So we shall see. What did you think? Did you like it? I loved it. I thought it was brilliant, and I cannot wait for more, hopefully, teasers and trailers and stuff that's going to come. It might be that perhaps in the second trailer we start to see more of the Amazing Spider-Man villain, or villains that are going to appear, perhaps. I don't think we're going to see, if they are in the movie, I don't think we're going to see Tobey and Andrew appearing as their versions of Spider-Man. I think they'll save that for the actual film itself. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. And with that said, we're all done. And I'll see you guys real soon.